Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and this is your month in review for January 2025. As usual, we will be going over a bunch of categories, from the stats of the month to my favorite games, my disappointments of the month, the best, the worst, the highlights, crowdfunding highlights, best videos on my channel, best videos on other channels, all of that and more. Links and timestamps to everything down below. But as usual, we're going to start off with our stats, and I actually had the best gaming month I've had in, well, at least over a year. I'd have to check, actually. I don't know when I last beat these numbers, but I had 188 games logged in January, and as usual disclaimer, or I don't know if disclaimer is the right word, but I usually assume that I log around 85 to 90% of my plays, but I have 188 plays logged in January this year, which beats anything I did last year. My highest month last year was actually January 2024 was my highest month, with 165 logged plays, and I beat that in this month already. So this year's off to a good start, although to be fair, last year my highest month was January, so if this year my highest month is January, we'll see how things are. But last year, I haven't actually done my end of year numbers, but last year was the first year ever that my number of plays per year didn't get higher. Every single year since I've started logging in 2017, the number of plays logged got higher. It peaked in 2023 and then saw a dip in 2024. So maybe we're back, maybe. I don't actually think we are. I think 2023 was an anomaly year. Anyways, 188 logged plays, 65 different games, 27 of them new to me, and we got a 5x5 or a 5H index, which means at least 5 different games played 5 different times. To that end, the games that I played at least 5 times are as follows. We have Twinkle Twinkle from All Play with 5 plays. We have Fellowship of the Ring, the trick-taking game, with 5 plays. That actually number is by now is more than doubled because I got a bunch of plays in the first few days of February. These are just January plays. We have Lorcana with 5 plays. I'm continuing to play that with my daughter. Evadel Silverfrost with 5 plays. Trio with 6. Shuffleboard with 6, My City with 8. I finally dove back into another campaign on My City. It's been like a year since the last one. No, I still haven't finished my island. Yes, I will do so eventually. And then we have Clank with 9 plays. Clank Legacy 2 with 9 plays. Actually just finished the campaign. I think I had 1 play in December, 9 plays in January, and then the last 2 plays in February. So that's 9 plays of Clank Legacy, and we'll have a review of that coming soon, of course. As far as my favorite videos on other people's channels, these are videos that I've watched from other channels that I want you to know about to definitely go ahead and check out if you haven't done so already. You don't have to. There's just suggestions. I enjoy them. Maybe you will too. And as always, it's a way of finding new channels. To that end, we have 10 most played games from Board Game Dave, going over the, this is Dave from Board Game Dave, going over his most played games in 2024. I always enjoy these kinds of videos because they are a focus on what's actually happening on the table, as opposed to the hype and just the hype alone. It's the actual games being played. We have a New Year's rant from Board Game Bollocks. If you haven't checked out Board Game Bollocks, he is a treat of a personality, very different than what you typically watch in the board game content creator space, but very worth watching, from his reviews to just his conversations. But he had a general New Year's rant that I very much enjoyed. We have 100 Hours Later of Elder Scrolls from Neon Gorilla. Neon Gorilla, a fantastic channel I've shouted out multiple times, so if you've been watching these videos, this is not new to you, but he had 100 Hours Later, a deep dive into Elder Scrolls Betrayal of a Second Era from Chip Theory Games, and I thought it was a great, really in-depth, nuanced take on the game, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the 100 hours. We have Board Game Ramblings, with a video that's very near and dear to my own heart, with a video called Over 150 Unplayed Games. Basically, they're talking about the nature of just the constant churn of both content and also just collecting as a hobby. Both of them have left them at a point where they are at 150 unplayed games. This is a problem I very much can empathize with. On my end, I have a lot of played games. I play a lot of games. I play, again, like what it was numbered, 27 new to me games this month. But I think that for I keep a spreadsheet of the games coming in and the games I played and got out. It very much is a never-ending churn. One that I constantly try to refine what I say no to, but it doesn't matter. I can't keep pace with saying no. The yes happens. The amount of games I want to play are too many, and there's a constant churn. I thought it was a good video just to get a sense of, either coming from the sense of a collector who doesn't know how to say no, or from the sense of a content creator, it is nonetheless a very good video that I personally enjoyed. And then my favorite video of the month From a channel that is completely new to me. I have a few videos of this I want to watch now, but in January, Big Pasty did a video of the 6 levels of board game asymmetry. This channel was not on my radar at all. Definitely check it out if you haven't yet. He just does these occasional deep dives into fascinating topical videos that I think are incredibly well done. And so, yeah, check it out if you haven't yet, because I think it's worth checking out. Anyways, as far as the best games that are the best new to me games this month, we have 5. As usual, these are ranked in order from least to most. We have Captain Flip coming in as my number 5. I need to actually go ahead and buy a physical copy. I played this on Board Game Arena, and I was very impressed with how good it was considering how light it was. It's not going to be like it's not going to be one of my favorite games ever, but it's a game that I very much enjoyed and thought was just an overall good time. Coming at number 4 was Silverfrost, and to be clear, this is an asterisk here. Silverfrost is actually ranked higher than some of the other ones on the list, but also it's like, I put it at a 4 because like it's new to me, but it's also Everdell, so how do I count that? Nonetheless, it's coming in at 4, so Everdell Silverfrost is fantastic, it's excellent, I give it a 5 out of 5. It's just like Everdell in many, many good ways, some ways that are better, some ways that are a little worse, and the overall package, I really enjoy, and that's Everdell Silverfrost. Coming in number 3, we have Daybake. Daybake from CMYK Games. I should have a review for you soon-ish at some point. But Daybake, it's a cooperative game from Matt Leacock, and I was not expecting to like it, and I really, really did. It was just one of those games I wanted to check off the list, and I checked it off the list, and now I want to play it again and again and again. We have Black Forest from Uwe Rosenberg. Now, Black Forest is my number 4, is my number 2 over here. I do think it has a chance of beating up my number 1, but I've only played Black Forest once, and so I'm giving more props to the number 1, where I've played multiple times. But Black Forest is from Uwe Rosenberg. It's a version of Glass Road that is more deterministic, and I had a lot of fun playing it. Actually, speaking of Board Game Dave, who I mentioned earlier in this video, is the one who taught it to me, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to playing it more. And then my number 1 is Minos, Dawn of the Bronze Age from Board and Dice and Stan Konowski. I thought it was excellent, really enjoyed it. Again, Black Forest might edge this out, but I need more plays. I don't like being too positive after only 1 play. Anyways, that's my best new games, which means on to the disappointments of the month. This category, I don't try to get 5, I just do whatever was a disappointment, and to that end we have 2. And this is, again, it's always tricky ranking these, because I'm not ranking these based off of what's worse, I'm ranking these based off of what I had more expectations for. So my number 2, meaning less disappointing, but it is not as good, my number 2 is Atoll. Atoll is one that I played. I was expecting that it would be like a scoring optimization game with a lot of ways to get points, and it's up to you as the player to try to figure out the best pathway forward, and all of that is true. I just didn't enjoy the game at all, unfortunately. I expected to like it, and I didn't like it. And then my number 1 is Animated. I will have a review for you soon. At Disney's Animated from, from Funko Games, I believe. But Animated is one that I do like it. I actually enjoy it and will play it more. The issue I have with it is, and we'll have a review for it at some point, but the issue I have with it is it's a little too simple. So the system they have, I think it's a great gateway game. For me, I really want to like it because of what they're doing with the game. And overall, it's fine and it's okay, and I'll probably play it, 2 more times and then never play it again, because it is a little bit too much on the lighter side for me personally. I wanted to like it here, and I like it here. So that's where we are on the disappointments over there. For my favorite videos of the month, these are the favorite videos on my channel. Coming in number 5, we have my Dragon Eclipse unboxing. This is an interesting one because I have too many campaign games. I'm trying to be more conservative, but I do want to play Dragon Eclipse. But I was excited about it, and that probably came through in the unboxing. I hope it did, because it's how I feel. And so I started playing through. Actually, we'll talk about it soon. But I started playing through Tamashii just to knock 1 game off my list so I can start diving into others. I really want to proactively, now that I finished Clank Legacy, I want to go through some, some mechs and minions. I want to start cutting down on the number of campaign games I have. There's just too many. Coming in at number 4, we have my most anticipated 2025 crowdfunding games. This is just a regular yearly video I do, where at the end of each year, I talk about the games that I am most looking forward to in the year ahead. In general, it's usually a short list, because there's only so many that I know about, and I will say, I actually added one. So here's one. I'm going to add one to the list, okay? So, because my most anticipated 2025 crowdfunding games, I already did a video for, but my number 1 most anticipated right now is actually Rise of Mythos Cthulhu. Okay, Rise of Mythos Cthulhu from the same people who did Harakiri Blades of Honor. I had a chance to play it this past week, and oh my gosh, 1 play. So do not take this to the bank at all. Sometimes I play a game once, and then I come back later, and I'm like, oh, multiple plays weren't as good as I thought it was. That does happen, so just do not take this to the bank yet. But as of right now, that is my most anticipated crowdfunding game, because I really enjoyed my initial play of it very much. It's a roguelite deck builder, effectively. Kind of Slay the Spire-esque as far as what it's doing, and oh my gosh, I had a lot of fun with it. Anyways, that's just a little touch up there. But anyway, most anticipated crowdfunding games is my number 4 favorite video for myself. My number 3 was my top 100 stats breakdown. This is a video I do every year, going over my top 100 and then just covering interesting notes. Highest rated of all time, the games that rose the most, the games that dropped out, anything like that. I had a few new categories this year, but if you want to check out my top 100 breakdown of my top 100, this is a yearly video that I really enjoy and had a lot of fun with. My number 2 is going to be Finspan. Do we need another Wingspan game? Make no mistake, I have a review and a gameplay for Finspan, but those aren't my favorite. My favorite one is this. It was a topical conversation around Finspan, and more specifically, around the pushback. There was a lot of social media pushback against it when it was announced. People were like, oh, we don't need this, it's bad, too much too soon, Stonemeyer, jumping the shark and all that stuff. And I just did a video kind of covering why I think those takes are unnecessary. Although I will say, I had someone commented fairly saying, it doesn't make a difference, like, this stuff is good, this is overall good. People make a buzz, they're upset, they're not upset, it's good buzz for Stonemeyer, it's good content for content creators, and the people who like the game can still get it. And that's all true. That is absolutely true. But I believe my response to him was along the lines of, in theory, if somebody goes to my video and comments, man, I hate your videos, you're the worst, that is actually good for engagement. Meaning, as far as YouTube's concerned, that video will now be shown to another 3 people because somebody commented on the video, regardless of the fact that their intent was negative. Meaning, there is this idea that negative press is still good press. And the question is, should we discourage people? Should I discourage somebody from being a troll on my videos, from being aggressive and unkind to myself or to anyone on the channel, to any channel for that matter? And my answer, I guess, would be no. I think we should try to encourage good behavior in all spaces, even if bad behavior has a net good. I don't believe in the idea that the end justifies the means. There are situational cases we could have nuanced conversations about. We're not going to for right now. I think for right now, even though I acknowledge that all the pushback against Finspan was actually helpful to Stonemeyer, I still think it's quote-unquote bad behavior. Like, there should be some more grace in the world, even if there's a kind of good that comes out of it, if that makes sense. But anyways, I enjoyed the video. That's why it's here. And my number 1 is going to be my State of the Channel video. I did a State of the Channel video at the beginning of the month. It's something that I think I did one last year, loosely, maybe, I don't remember. But I plan on doing it every year. It's kind of just a general, like, hey, here's a video talking about who I am, what we're doing, what I do here. It's kind of like an introduction to people who haven't been watching me for super long. If you only found me a few months ago, it's worth having a kind of, this is how Board Game Co. operates as a channel, these are the challenges we face, these are our approaches to them, these are the types of content you can expect. Yes, I talk too fast, no, there's not enough B-roll. It's just general, like, awareness kind of video, and I want to do one of those every single year, both as a kind of like, hey, here are how things are changing every year, as well as kind of the fact that not everyone who watches the channel on a regular basis is watching every video. So I think it's useful to have that occasional reminder, and once a year seems about right. Anyways, as far as crowdfunding highlights, I only have 2 in this category because there just wasn't a lot of crowdfunding in January that I cared about. We have Silverfrost, which I mentioned already, and then the other one I wanted to talk about was Click a Tree. Click a Tree from Uwe Rosenberg. I was really intrigued by that one. I didn't back it because it was way too expensive once you count shipping and all that. I do want to get it at retail, but I was very excited about the game itself. It looked like the kind of game I would enjoy. And then as far as my highlights, my general highlights, these are games that are not new to me. They're just my general highlights of the month. Usually they're games that I really enjoyed and haven't talked about in a while, but I'm still enjoying them. They're almost always games, they are always games that I have played this past month, and I'm just like, hey, I'm excited, so let's talk about it. Number 5 is going to be Castle Combo over here. I really enjoy Castle Combo. I went on a little bit of a rampage of like 4 or 5 games in a row, and I still am having a lot of fun with it. I still think Far Away is my preferred game, but the more I play Castle Combo, the closer that gap is. I believe I rated it as a 4 when I did my video, and I think instinctively right now it'd be a 4.5, but I'd want more settling before I officially change rating. Coming in number 4, we have A Feast for Odin. I got to play A Feast for Odin Norwegians over on Board Game Arena, which I didn't realize they added the Norwegian expansion, which is actually a problem because that makes it so much harder to play this game in real life now. Because until now, my argument has always been, I love playing it on Board Game Arena because it handles all the fiddliness, and I love playing it in real life because I can actually play with the Norwegian expansion. But now they have the Norwegian expansion on Board Game Arena, which almost makes me feel there's no reason to own this, but I am the kind of person that if I never play a game in person, but I'm actively playing it online, I will still keep that game because apparently I love that game and want to play it. Now there's exceptions, because you might be saying, like, what about this? What, like Azul. One time I said I'm getting rid of Azul because I'll just play it on Board Game Arena. But the difference there is, that's a situation where I like Azul a lot, but I also know that I can play it on Board Game Arena and it's easier to let go, and I will play it on Board Game Arena. That's not the situation with A Feast for Odin. A Feast for Odin, is it the? A Feast for Odin. I love a Feast for Odin. It may happen to be that eventually all my plays are online, but I still love it. It's not a game that I will happen to play online because why not? It's a game that I absolutely love and will constantly play, whether online or in person. Coming in at number 3, we have Tamashii. Tamashii over here, I'm really enjoying this one. I started diving back into it, which makes sense. I enjoyed the prototype, but I'm enjoying it a lot. I kind of thought I'd like, okay, I started playing through Tamashii, and I still have the expectation that I will play it until it's not fun to play it, and then I will either do a re-review, because I've played enough that I want to do a full, like, re-review, or I'll just get rid of it. Either one is fine with me. But right now, I'm really enjoying it. I'm diving into Tamashii. My goal is to finish it by the end of March. Based on how things are going, I don't know if that will happen. It's not often enough that I get to just play a solo game and just knock out a few games here and there. It can happen, like, every few days here and there, so it might drift past March, but as long as I'm actively playing it, that's fine. And right now, I'm actively playing it and enjoying it. In fact, after this, I may try to play Tamashii after doing this video. We'll see. Maybe not. Dinner's first. Anyways, that's Tamashii. Coming in number 2, we have Orleans. Orleans from TMG. I got a chance to play this one. I haven't played it in like 8 years, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad that I have a bunch of expansions, because I now plan on playing through more of it. But Orleans is a fantastic bag building game that I really enjoyed and want to play more of because I like bag building and I like what this game is doing, and I like the fact that it's 14 turns or something like that, as opposed to many of these games that they're like 4 rounds, build your engine in 4 rounds, and I'm like, that means in order for that to work as a game, that means round 1 has to be so constrictive and round 4 is so freeing, but that only round 4 is so freeing. Round 3 is like good enough, and round 1 is punishing, round 2 is like, okay, maybe I'll do some things, round 3 is like, okay, and round 4 is the fun part. I don't like it when round 4 is the fun part. Granted, I did just say Everdell's amazing, and Everdell does follow that arc, so maybe I am not entirely consistent, but there's a lot of times where I don't keep amazing Euro games because they feel too constrictive in a 4-round game. And then sometimes there's Everdell, and I love it. Anyways, lastly is going to be Unconscious Mind. Unconscious Mind is my number 1 over here as far as my general highlights. I've been loving playing through Unconscious Mind, and I plan to play through a lot more of it. I will have a re-review for you at some point, meaning I did review the prototype 2.5 years ago, but honestly, my opinion stands still. As of right now, it's still, is it still a 5 out of 5? I think it is. I think it's still a 5 out of 5. It's always a little hard to weigh up perfectly, especially when I'm talking about Orleans that's so good in an hour and a half, and then this Unconscious Mind that's so good, but honestly it drifts to that 2.5 hour mark easily, 3 hours with new players, so I'm like, do I play this over this? And honestly, Orleans, I need more time with Orleans, but that could be a 5 out of 5 game too. I understand why it's in the top 100, so we'll see. But right now, Unconscious Mind is so good when I play it, so right now it's still doing amazing, and I will have a re-review at some point. Anyways, that has been your month in review. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.